Over the past 10 to 12 years, I'd been using pain pills, but they never tended to be a problem until probably the past 6 months before I came here. I just had a normal, regular life, worked every day, but I was having problems with my wife. A lot of bills, just things like that. And we weren't getting along. We were having counseling, trying to figure some things out. Then my life just started getting chaotic.
It wasn't very obvious, so it wasn't what people see in the movies where someone's slouched over on a couch, For us, it was more he was coping. So what he was doing was to maintain day to day. So it wasn't entirely obvious to me. There were a couple things that kind of, brought it to the surface, and I realized, there's a problem. He was just different. It's kind of hard to pinpoint it, but when you're married to someone and you see them every day, they're not who they normally are. And then financially, there were some things that I realized, weren't exactly right as well. It kind of just came to me, I need to bring a drug test home. And then that's when I realized there was a problem. I think that's where God did intervene and was moving me in a certain direction. Like there's something not right and you just need to keep pushing.
I mean, even my wife or my child were not like good enough at the time. I mean, anything they would do or whatnot couldn't control my pill addiction. I was powerless over it. I was manipulating, I was lying, I was doing anything I could just to hide the drug problem that I had in my life. I mean, I went to work every day, I still did everything I was supposed to, and it just got more tiring and tiring and tiring. Finally, I got called out on it. Something wasn't right. I was asked to do a drug test. I failed that. I lied about it. About 10 more days later, I was asked to do another one. I failed that, lied about it, and finally I was getting boxed in pretty much, and I didn't realize how much it would have helped my life to get out of this situation, but I just couldn't see it because I thought I was going to lose everything.
When he tested positive for opioids, and I know that's not, we're just going to stop that today. And I knew he wasn't himself. And it was on a Sunday that we did the intervention. We went to church, and we always were churchgoers. And I just remember sitting in church holding his hand, knowing this has to happen. An intervention is a tricky thing. When it's not so visible to everyone that someone has a problem, not everyone was on the same page as me. So of course it was in our house, and there's lots of emotions with everyone there. You're trying to convince someone who had controlled it for most of their life that there's a problem and we need, you need some help, and our family needs some help. No one knew what to do. I didn't know what to do. My husband didn't know what to do. The rest of the family members there didn't know what to do, but we knew something had to happen. Tensions were obviously high. I had to take a minute to just walk over in the hall and compose myself, because I knew then something major is going to change, and I'm going to be impacted, and my daughter's going to be impacted, whatever that may look like. And I just stepped over to take a breath, say a prayer. You need to do something, but you don't know what it is yet. And I leaned my head against the wall to just take a breath, and when I lifted my head back up and looked, I was just looking at the picture of our family, and that it felt very hopeless when you're looking at a picture of your husband, yourself, and your daughter, thinking our world is shattering into pieces, and I don't know what tomorrow looks like.
I went to a 30-day program. I did that. By about a week of it left, I started figuring that this is probably not enough for me.
I realized, you can't put a Band-Aid on a 30-year problem in 30-day program. So then that's when we started looking at, like most people's addiction, it's much deeper than what they're doing to cope. So where could he go for his help, but then also where could he go where my daughter and I also got the help that we needed.
There was so many things coming in left and right that are giving me clues that I needed to come to this place, the Eagles Nest. And once I got here, I was stressed. I didn't think I would be able to make it, but once I got through the 2-week beginning of it, I started to slow down a little bit and start to grasp what was going on here, start making friends, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life.